What a beautiful morning. So grateful that Trump got in office. Life is going to be so much easier again.
A few moments later.
So I just got the quote from the dentist in Mexico I've been looking to go see because, no offense to my current dentist in the United States, I love him. He does a really great job, and I wish I could go to him. I just can't afford dental care in the United States.
Own the libs. Are you winning yet? No, because you played yourself. These are the females who lack the spine and the courage to step into a private voting booth and vote to safeguard their own rights as women. They're so weak that they actively participate in their own downfall, allowing men to use them as tools to strip away their own rights and help strip away the rights of us all as women. This is what happens when you're gullible enough to fall for the conservative patriarchal illusion of a traditional family, where the man is supposed to be the leader, but in reality, that so-called provider is a failure, leaving you, his wife, so financially helpless that you are forced to rely on the very people that y'all demonize and cheer to be deported just to survive. Now look at you crossing the border into Mexico. Yes, the same Mexico you clutch your pearls over just to be able to afford health care. You're out here bragging about voting for Trump, yet you can't even afford to put America first under Trump. You're out here fighting for white supremacy, but white supremacy ain't fighting for you. Make it make sense. And the best part, this is just a warm-up, so buckle up because the real struggle hasn't even started yet.
So I just saw this clip of a Trump supporter asking how come everybody who goes to college is a Biden supporter. Watch this.
I just wonder too, I mean, how come almost everybody I know of that went to college is a Biden supporter?
Yeah.
And I don't understand how everybody is a Biden supporter if you just went to college. So what are they teaching in this college? Are they teaching anything?
Stuff like inclusivity and respecting other people, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, woke.
Yeah, wokeness.
I really like that other guy's answer there because they teach inclusivity and how to respect and treat other people in college. That's very true. But also, the question kind of answers itself. When you go to college, you're taught to analyze evidence, question sources, and fact-check claims. And all of these things don't sit well in a party that's built on conspiracy theories and culture war nonsense. It's not that going to college makes you a liberal. It's the fact that being exposed to science, history, economics, and reality makes you a lot less likely to fall for populist propaganda. It's not surprising at all that the more educated you are, the more likely you are to vote blue. So instead of mocking education, I think the Republican Party needs to ask themselves why they are so out of touch with people who study facts for a living.
Hi, I worked in conservative media for 8 years, and working there for so long and seeing how they operate turned me liberal and then eventually turned me leftist, and I quit my job last week. Yes, I know I have a sunburn. Don't talk about my sunburn, okay? I've got it covered. I know I should have quit sooner, but after September 10th, everything escalated so much, and I ended up quitting on the spot Monday morning by responding to a company-wide email from the CEO, but that's another story. Anyways, there's some things about the conservative media industry that you should understand if you're going to continue to consume it. You're being propagandized and you're being exploited. Even in normal times, there's two goals that conservative media has for how they want their viewers to feel. So that first goal, like I mentioned, is that propagandizing factor. They want you to be so scared of people and things that aren't that scary, like trans people, black people, Muslim people, immigrants. There's no such thing as a demographic of people that commit zero crime. Every group of people that you encounter is going to have a few shitheads in them. It's a fact of nature. It's inevitable. So when a member of one of these communities inevitably commits a crime, they're going to elevate that. They're going to make it look like it's a chronic problem when statistically it really isn't. And I don't want to hear anything about 13% of the population, meaning the black community, committing 50% of the crimes. It's demonstrably false. The only reason that the numbers are higher at all with black people is because their neighborhoods and communities are over-policed. Sometimes they'll just make shit up, like the Haitian people eating people's pets. Like, that just wasn't happening, but it doesn't matter that it didn't happen because they propagandized you all into believing it. It is designed to scare you and to make you look to them, to their network for comfort. They strategize about what to make a big deal out of next to whip up the base. That is the first goal. The second goal is to get the viewers excess money by any means necessary. Have you ever noticed on conservative platforms how like half the ads are for like really scammy products? Trump shoes, Trump coin, supplements that don't work, the world's shittiest pillow, those kinds of things. The reason they try to sell that shit to their viewers is because they know they've already tricked them into voting against their interests. So they figure, why not trick them into buying a shitty Trump teddy bear too? It's shameless and it's obvious. Pay attention to what you're seeing. Pay attention to what they're telling you. Think about what they have to gain from making you hate your neighbor instead of paying attention to the fact that you can't afford your rent, you can't afford a vacation, you can't afford your medicine. Pay attention. Wake up. It's so bad. Listen to me, okay? I was in this. I was inside for 8 years. You are getting scammed. You are getting conned.
Hello everyone, I just popped up to say hi. Thank you for watching my videos. It's amazing. Let's continue watching, and I'll be making my conclusion at the end of the video. So you really mean a lot to me. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And at the end of this video, I'll be making my conclusion. So let's continue watching.
Why is MAGA still so angry? They won the election, they got what they wanted. They say that everything that Trump is doing is why they voted for him. But why are they still spending so much time and energy arguing with people who disagree with Trump and his policies? In my comment section, making videos, just the anger and the vitriol continues to seethe through them. And the reason is because they still don't have control. They can't control how we think and feel, and that we still disagree with him. Just because Trump is president does not mean that we have to roll over and acquiesce and accept that everything he says or does. We are allowed to question, we are allowed to speak up, we are allowed to protest if we don't like what's happening in our government. I know if Kamala Harris had won, I would be peaceful. I would be enjoying my time, and I would be focusing on the progress that she was making towards the goals that I was behind and I supported. I would not be spending so much time and energy still arguing with people who did not vote for her in the previous election. It's a waste of energy. The election is over. However, the people who did vote for Kamala Harris and didn't get the outcome that they wanted still have the right to continue to fight and speak for important matters and issues at hand in our country. But we know that MAGA is all about control, and they want everyone to feel the same way, to accept the same facts that they have, and to not really question it and just to follow blindly, because that's what they do. And they don't understand that we have the ability to critically think and use our minds and our morals to make different decisions. So I guess MAGA, continue being angry that you won, because you can't shut us up, and we're going to keep being loud. So
America is not a Christian nation. In fact, we're doing the exact opposite of what Jesus tells us to do. Jesus healed people, but we're cutting Medicare. Jesus fed people, but we're cutting SNAP benefits. Jesus cared for the marginalized, but we're ending USAID, a program that has saved over 90 million lives and costs each taxpayer around 18 cents a year. Jesus told us we cannot serve money and God, and yet we are giving huge tax breaks to the wealthiest Americans. Now, I know not everybody puts Christ's teachings at the center of their morality, but for those of us who are Americans and Christians, we have to really reckon with what our nation is doing right now and how flagrantly it disobeys the teachings of Christ. As a Christian, I want my government to do as much good as possible. I don't give a crap whether the 10 Commandments are in the classroom. That does not matter at all. That has nothing to do with following Jesus. It's just posturing. Following Jesus means you are supposed to give up everything. Your pride, your status, your wealth, all for the benefit of the marginalized. Being a Christian has always been about sacrifice, especially sacrifice for those who have less than you. So my hope for the 4th of July is that those of us who are American Christians would have our hearts broken open by the Holy Spirit again and again and again. That those of us in the United States might call our representatives and go and protest and do everything we possibly can to resist the Trump regime. Following Jesus means that all people should experience liberation in their body and also in their spirit. That's what the gospel is all about.
And so a few days ago, I saw a video that was posted by a woman on here, and she was asking those of us on the left, she was like, okay, well, for people who are waking up from MAGA, what is it that they're going to have to show you, or at what point are they going to be embraced and shown compassion? And I think that she was asking that question out of good faith. I mean, I don't know at the end of the day, but regardless, I'm going to give a good faith answer. And so when it comes to conservatives, from what I understand, from what I see, a lot of conservatives are operating from a desire for approval, for praise, for additional caregiving, which are not bad things in and of themselves, but the method by which y'all try and get those things is part of the problem. I think that a lot of MAGA, truthfully, are not really buying what the party is selling, but they understand to some extent that there would be a quote unquote higher likelihood of having some level of proximity to what they believe to be care, even though we all know that it actually isn't. And so when it comes to shifting your mindset, escaping and waking up from MAGA, I actually do think that a lot of y'all need to, one, dispose yourselves of the idea that you are going to be trusted or that you are going to be accepted. Because at the end of the day, if you're going to be standing up for human rights means standing up for human rights even if it means that the people around you are not going to approve, or the people around you are going to reject you or even inflict some level of harm or violence against you. Advocating for human rights actually isn't about you at all, but is about the people who are being impacted by the most vile systems in our societies. And I think that when it comes to, this sort of like transience that can exist for people who are waking up from MAGA, I find that, of course, like there's a lot of embarrassment that some people feel once they realize that the party or like the politicians or the leaders that they were aligning themselves with are actually in opposition to the values that they hold, right? And I think that with that embarrassment, so many people who are waking up from MAGA, instead of really grappling and really sitting with those feelings, they try to look for additional distractions, right? They avoid, and some of that avoidance looks, again, like people-pleasing behaviors, which also is manipulative, And so I think that if you're somebody who is waking up from MAGA, and if you are questioning your place in the world or like what to do next, or, are the left are going to like me, I actually do think that you need to investigate why it matters that you need to be liked so much. And what could it mean if you could, allow yourself to do right, even if you know that these people on the left are still untrusting of you. Because at the end of the day, you are not trusted based off of your previous actions and behaviors. This like respect and trust building process does take time. And that's not to say that nobody's ever going to trust you, but I don't think that it's going to happen overnight. And if you are somebody who needs that immediate validation, that immediate showing of, okay, these people are with me, then I actually do think that there is some deeper work that you need to do that is actually separate from any of this political shit.
Take a listen to how Trump's own voters are describing their own emotions right now on right-wing political call-in shows.
I feel really betrayed, and I feel really, really angry. We have a president who tells us to move on from Epstein because it doesn't matter. Are you guys still talking about this seriously? And yet he still talks about the 2020 election fraud. He talks about the Hunter Biden laptop. He talks about all this stuff from 5-6 years ago, and he tells us to move on from the Epstein trial or the Epstein case. People like me will not stop talking about this. I feel so betrayed and so angry. This is not what I voted for.
I'm concerned about being able to trust Donald Trump to keep his word. In his campaign, he said he was going to let us know all of the facts about this. And now he's saying, go away, don't pay attention to it.
These Epstein files, we were told that there was going to be released. There was his client list that was going to be released. And the fact that it's suddenly gone away and he's trying to gaslight us is like a punch in the gut to MAGA.
I'm seeing it in South Florida, where I live, where most of our representatives are Republican. And the suffering and fear that the Latino community is undergoing in Miami and South Florida, all over the country. The windows of their cars are getting smashed. They're getting dragged through the streets by men in masks who are picking them. Children are being torn from the arms of their mothers. And this is happening, and our Republican congresspeople aren't saying a damn thing because they are more scared of Trump right now than they are scared of losing their seats. And that has got to change because we have no guardrails right now. We have no checks and balances. There is no oversight.
You want to see some of the most bald-faced lying you have ever seen in your life?
That Republicans are cutting Medicare and Medicaid. Yeah, it's of course nonsense. We are not cutting Medicaid. We are strengthening the program for the people that desperately need it and deserve it.
Republicans are cutting $800 billion from the Medicaid program, and they are pretending that all of that money is what? Just extra administrative expenses, waste, fraud, and abuse? Almost $1 trillion. Meanwhile, you have the CBO, which is a nonpartisan agency. The Republicans have relied on them for decades. They have quoted them relentlessly when it benefited them. But now they're saying, oh, the CBO is just making it up when they say that 11 million people will lose their coverage. And most of those people, almost without exception, are eligible. Now he's going to go on and talk about work requirements. Let's listen to this bullshit.
What we're doing is reinstituting work requirements, because if a young, able-bodied man is able to work, he should.
This entire thing, this myth that there are young, able-bodied men sitting at home getting Medicaid, it is a lie told to you to justify cuts. Here's the fact. Nationally, more than 6 in 10 non-elderly adults on Medicaid are already working full-time. 43% of them were part-time, 19% of them. And we have 15% who are not working due to illness or disability, 11% who aren't working because they're caregiving, and 6% who aren't working because they're in school. Guess what that leaves? 6% of adult Medicaid enrollees who are not already working or otherwise exempt. $1 trillion worth of cuts to target 6% of the people on Medicaid? Of course not. They couldn't achieve their savings that way. They are saving the money they're saving by cutting eligible people off the program. Here's the most important point. Among the majority who are already working, as well as among those who may qualify for an exemption, many could face administrative hurdles in documenting their status to maintain Medicaid coverage. That is what work requirements do. They are paperwork requirements, red tape requirements designed to kick people off of the program. But wait, there's more. Ready for the most bald-faced lie of all?
Well, comports with that. The tax provisions are written for lower and middle class earners, hardworking families.
Here's just a few headlines in response to that, and there's really too many for me to choose because they just go on and on and on and on and on. Republicans want to put poor people through hell to fund tax cuts for the rich should be the headline on every single story. But you know what the other headline should be? That these so-called Christians will lie through their teeth to get it done. Tell a friend.
Well, when we found out that President Trump was running for president again this term, we immediately went out and bought a flag. Hey, if you didn't get the email on Monday, you're safe. And I'm like skipping down the halls, right? You know, and our friends that didn't vote the same, you know, there's always that back and forth conversation now. It's like, you knew this was coming, but we didn't. Like, nobody that I've talked to understood the devastation that having this administration in office would do to our lives, but other people that we love and care about too within the Mid-Ohio Valley. Absolutely, I feel a little bit betrayed.
We literally get slapped in the face with no explanation. They fool you a lot. They get in office, they don't do the things they said they was going to do or promise the people.
Donald Trump and Elon Musk and this fictitious entity Doge, this unlawful entity Doge, has any actual interest in rooting out government waste, fraud, and abuse. They're the only ones committing those things. They are the only ones committing those things. They have.
And Trump just sits there like this. So Trump Elon Musk bought a president. He bought the presidency of the United States, and now he's going to destroy us.
If we knew what we know today and the vote was tomorrow, I don't know what I would do because of my morals, but I just don't think I could do it again. I don't think I could vote for President Trump again, no.
Trump was born when Franklin Roosevelt was leaving the White House. 1. Here comes Harry Truman. 2. Here comes Dwight Eisenhower. Here comes John Kennedy. Here comes Lyndon Johnson. 5. Richard Nixon. Gerald Ford. Who was the other one? Jimmy Carter. Ronald Reagan. George H. Bush. Bill Clinton. Again, George W. Bush. Then Barack Obama, then Joe Biden, then Trump. Trump has lived under 14 presidents. If I forgot someone, tell me in the comment section. If I forgot anyone, tell me in the comment section. And no president under all those years is worse than Trump. No one. Trump has really is the worst president than the 14 presidents he has lived under. I really weep for my nation. Not because I sympathize with MAGA or maybe I have empathy for the consequences they are facing because of their votes, but of where we are headed as a country. Where are we headed as a country? Project 2025 is here to stay. Trump is aligning our country in such a way that the policies which the government is setting in place is to ensure that no American is able to rise from rags to riches. As in, the system which is being set in place, you won't be able to become a millionaire, a billionaire, a six-figure earner. It's close to impossible. It's maybe impossible in the next 5, 10 years, 15 years. It will be impossible. You know, many elder people watch my videos, 65, 50, people who lived under Ronald Reagan, you know. So tell me in the comment section, how Ronald Reagan contributed to the collapse of the American dream. Introducing college tuition. Ronald Reagan did that. So maybe at first you can't see the consequences because maybe our system is so strong it can absorb the shocks. But what happens in the future? The springs become weak and the system collapses and we are all damned. So what the Trump's policies or whatever is setting in place, the division, the hatred, the racism, whatever, he has made the girls to come out in public and start harassing other Americans, you know what I mean? So the systems that Trump has put in place, the fear, the hatred that is spreading, we might not experience their consequences at the moment. But in the next decade or two, we will be remembering Donald Trump. The way we remember the two-weight depression. We will be connecting Trump directly to the collapse of the American dream. We will directly link Trump to the rise of corporates in such a way that they control the laws our country passes, in such that they control the direction of the government policy, in such a way that me and you, we have no choice. Maybe whenever we go shopping or whenever we want to do something, except that we are told from which company or which corporate to buy from. It's so. Because Trump vote has led to the collapse of the American dream. Not now, but we will direct it. The future scholars will be writing books. My age mates at the moment, they will be giving history or they will be giving some lessons about how Trump's policies really or are linked to the consequences we are facing. And when you say we are facing, the moment will be 2040s, 2050s. Yeah, we will be linking Trump directly to that. So let's save our country. Let's not continue watching and maybe stay silent about it. Let's make something happen. Through voting, through engaging those town halls, protesting whenever necessary, because now it is a fight between good and evil. We can't argue or we can't engage in a dialogue when the dialogue doesn't bring change. Yes, I see Republicans saying Democrats don't like talking. What should we talk about? When we talk, the tariffs don't change. When we talk, the Medicare cuts are still ongoing. When we talk, we are waging war in Gaza, in Venezuela, name them. When we talk, fathers are being snatched from their parents. When we talk, so talking is only good in changing discourse, but not changing the fate of a country. Tell me in the comment section, when has talking ever changed the history of the world. Tell me, in Germany, in the Korean War, did they talk? In Vietnam against communism, were they talking? In World War II, World War One, were they talking? When Japan invaded Pearl Harbor, did they talk? So talking doesn't change anything, except maybe when you are scholars, when you want to change maybe policy directions, what that. But when you want real change, the Republicans claim Democrats don't like talking. We have talked enough. Let's meet in the ballot box. So what I usually say is stay focused, stay alert, vote blue, talk blue, listen blue, and until the next video, thank you for your attention to this matter.